Alright, what's up, everybody? Here filming some mock drafts like I said I would. I apologize if the audio might be a little scuffed. I'm filming off of wireless headphones right now. I usually have like a headset that has a microphone on it, but my computer's currently broken. Well, it's not even broken. It's like half broken, kind of lag. I don't know. It's weird. So I'm filming off my laptop with some headphones. Uh, if I was going to a flight, say this is premium like airport content, but it's not even that. All right. Now, first pick. Zachariah Brand still being here, it would be a huge upgrade over Darnell Mooney, I think, as the 2. Or even if they want to keep Darnell Mooney as the 2, he'd be a huge upgrade over David Sills. You could even flip-flop that, like Zachariah Brandt's 2, Darnell Mooney 3, David Sills 4, and they all get meaningful playing time, and that'd still be great. So, I think with Falcons' first pick here, we're going to go Zachariah Brandt. He's a dog, bro. Okay, just a little background. I'm not the best versed in college football, but Zachariah Brandt is a dog, bro. I saw that one play where he kept fighting. It was in the championship, I think. Well, no, it wasn't the championship because that's the final. It was like Alabama's last game. He lost his helmet and he was still fighting. Like, that's the certain mentality that you just can't teach people, you know? They just kind of gotta come in with it, you know? They gotta be willing to fight like that. But, yeah, at this next pick, we're gonna address some premium positioning. Again, I know this is bad. This might have been a bad team for me to pick. I know close to nothing about the Falcons, alright? But I'm going to try my best. And here we have Joshua Josephs. So let me just look him up on ESPN real quick. Joshua Josephs. Alright, Tennessee Volunteers. 17 solo tackles, 4 sacks. 3 forced fumbles. Alright, it's not like the Falcons need a safety. They got Xavier Watts, Jesse Bates, and I did not know Jesse Bates was only 28. I thought he was in his 30s for some reason. So yeah, I thought he was close to retiring. Nowhere near the sort. He might be a little less dominant now, but that doesn't matter. He's still 28. He's still a dog. And let's look at Gabe Jacas. I'm calling him Jacas. Illinois Fighting. Lenny? 23 solo tackles, 11 sacks, 3 forced fumbles. I think I like him a little bit more. 6'3", 240 on Josephs. 6'3", 275. Yeah, I might have to go Gabe Jacas. I like his build better, you know? And that's what I've been doing with a lot of these mock drafts. I haven't been posting them, but I've just been doing them for fun on my phone. A lot of these mock drafts, I'm primarily looking at like builds, you know. I don't know a lot about college, so if I know a player good, I'll use that information, but I'll just go off of stats and builds, right? So let's just use, we're gonna look at these traits first, but no, alright. But yeah, alright, let's just go. I think here I'm gonna draft a linebacker. So let's just go to the position, right? We are 114th pick. So that means anyone past Torrin York, we're not going to be looking at just yet. Because let's see, because they should still be around. by our next pick if we don't like anybody. Or no, they won't. I didn't realize Falcons are so cleared out. Alright, so I guess anyone under Brian Bocher will still be there at our next pick. So I'll just head over to ESPN and look up Deontay Lawson. Alright. And I already know a bit about this guy's build just because I've drafted him before in mock drafts. But yeah, 6'2", 228. And yeah, 45 solo tackles, 1.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. So decent stats. You know, and it's like you gotta factor in what you want him to be too. Like, he could be rotational. Definitely could be rotational with those stats and be good at it. But we'll also look at Harold Perkins. Alright. Harold Perkins Jr. 26 solo tackles, 4 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 3 interceptions. Alright, he's 6'1", 222. And then Deontay Lawson was 6'2", 228. But he doesn't have the interceptions. So you could argue Harold Perkins gives you more versatility because he can be a coverage linebacker, but he can also hit hard. 4 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 26 solo tackles. But you gotta look at his career stats too. If he just had a blow up year, that could also be a bad sign. Like, yeah, this is his best year for interceptions with 3. So that's a blow up year. I mean, Deontay Lawson, he's been consistent. You know, he hasn't had a spectacularly great season. That's why he's projected so late in the draft. But just all the Falcons, and this is also something you have to consider too. You gotta consider what the team plays like. Falcons, they're way more into coverage, so that's why I took Harold Perkins over Lawson. Falcons can drop him into coverage, and they're more likely to drop a linebacker into coverage than, let's say, the Rams or something. The Rams need an instinctual linebacker that will be able to rush and protect the middle, get some pressure, and spy the quarterback. And Lawson would be better at that, in my opinion, than Perkins. However, Perkins just fits the Atlanta system so well that you kind of just have to draft him, you know? But I'm going to double up here. I'm going to do Atlanta, and I haven't decided yet. But, I mean, how many selections do they have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 selections. Yeah, that's not... I did 7 rounds, and I only have 5 selections. That's not a great mock at all. Well, I mean, it's what they are working with, so it's a good enough mock, but still, you don't want to just... I just want to do as much as possible because mock drafts are fun. Let's look at Damani Jackson. Damani Jackson. Alabama Crimson Tide. As a corner, 6'1", 196. 26 tackles, solo, 0 forced fumbles, 0 interceptions, 1 pass defended. Does he? He has 2 interceptions in 2024. Alright. Falcons cornerbacks are AJ Terrell. Hold up. Kobe Bryant. D. Alford. I know they have a pretty good cornerback room. I'm not gonna lie. So they don't even need a corner, but you know, sometimes you gotta look at the team, they're depth, stuff like that. That's why I'm going that defensive lineman there, Xavier Harris. I didn't even look him up, but you can never have enough trench help. And I think the last pick we're gonna see what quarterbacks are still there, cause from what I hear, there's gonna be a bit of competition down in Atlanta. Kirk Cousins is expected to be cut. It's gonna be Michael Penix, and who else? So I might go here. In real life, I might go Miller Moss, but Atlanta can just pick him up after the draft. He's not getting drafted, at least in mock drafts. In real life, I draft him, but for this, I'm gonna look at Mark Growinski. I believe that's how you say Mark Gronosky. I'm so sorry, Mark. Yeah, it's just not my just not pronouncing that name right today. You know what? I'm just doing what I want. Diego Pavia is a dog, actually. So I'm gonna go Diego Pavia, bro. He's not even a bad quarterback. I think he's just had a bunch of personality issues. That's why he's really fallen down the draft. But yeah, definitely not bad. And that's our draft. Of course, Diego Pavia gets to see. Atlanta doesn't really need a quarterback right now, but I was an ESPN report that I got earlier saying that they're likely to cut Kirko Chains. So if they do cut him, they're definitely gonna need a quarterback to compete with Michael Penix because he has not looked elite. Like, he has not looked like a first round quarterback. I could have gotten him in the 6th round, honestly, based off his production last year. The year before, he looked maybe like a 2nd or 3rd round quarterback. He just looked so bad this past year. Alright, next we're going to do the Texans. Let's go. And let's do it fast this time, because I'm already like halfway through the video. Just, yeah, save time. Texans should be like 28. Alright, boom, boom, boom. And, I mean, teams really want this pick. But yeah, I mean, Texans, they offensive line looked better. Running game looked a little weak at times. What else? Receivers looked weak. I know they missing Tank Dell because of injury. Nico Collins, Tank Dell, it's a pretty good duo. I don't even know when Tank Dell is expected to be back though. Like, he missed the entire season and playoffs. Like, I mean, like, is he even gonna return? I don't know. Let's see. Well, I'm looking at this article. Was close to returning for the Texans, supposed to do so. Alright, so he'll be ready to go next season, Tank Dell. That's good. Alright, so we don't need to reach on receiver yet. We probably don't even need a receiver until the later rounds, like 5, 6. Don't need a tight end. Dalton Schultz is good enough. We could go Caden Proctor. I mean, that's what they want our team to draft. But I mean, the entire Texans O-line could use some help. So Yeah, we got him. Okay, they cleared out the interior. Offensive linemen. Offensive tackles. So we got Jennings Dunker. From what I've heard, he's willing to take snaps at center. So, I mean, yeah. Laramie Tunsil. Only notable name on that Texans defense. Elijah Surratt. Highest rated wide receiver still left. I believe we're going to go Bryce, Lance, or below. I might go Chase Roberts. Yeah, I'm going to go Chase Roberts later on in the draft. Kind of just spoiled that pick, but who cares? And Texans, their defense was insane. Their defense was absolutely insane. Texans depth chart. Let's look at the CSPN Texans depth chart. Specifically their offensive line. Left tackle, Ariante Irsay. He was just drafted recently, you know? Yeah, alright, 2025. Alright, Titus Howard, Jake Andrews, Ed Ingram, Trent Brown. Alright. So yeah, those first two picks were pretty good, I think. Looking at the interior now. Connor Lew, I want him. Let's see, Texans' next pick. Alright, we got 69. We can probably still get him. Meantime, I think it's just never too much in the trenches, you know. But no very solid defensive linemen are left. Next is Danny Dennis Sutton at 82. Okay. So, could go linebacker, Jake Golday. If he's like he can pass rush and draw back into coverage. He's good enough, I think. 3.5 sacks, 3.5, I guess. I don't know why I said 3.5. 1 for solo, 38 solo tackles, alright. And Texans linebackers, Aziz Al-Shir, Harry Toa, EJ Speed. It's interesting. Alright, yeah. Jake Galladay, welcome to the team. Maybe he can take over for EJ Speed. Alright, and then here, we're going to go Connor Lew. Alright. Boom. Alright, here, we're going to, just go back to all. I really want to take some defensive linemen here. I mean, Tommy Toga guy, he was balling. Well, he wasn't balling. He was getting very consistent pressure. He just wasn't getting home a whole lot. Same with Sheldon Rankins. Will Anderson Jr. of course 12 sacks. He was getting home on a consistent rate. But Anthony Lucas, I mean, he could be a good rotational piece. I mean, Derek Barnett, he could probably move him to the inside, or Anthony Lucas might be able to move him inside. 6'5", 285, defensive end. He's very similar in builds to Derek Barnett, Neil Hunter, and Nico Autry, They have that left side locked down. Only the only way I think Nick Autry retires. Anthony Lucas, we're just gonna draft him. You can never have enough depth on the edge, Pass rush. And never enough. Alright. Reject that trade. Nope. And safeties for the Texans. Ooh. Texans secondary was cracked all year. Kalen Bullock, Jalen Reed. Jalen Reed, Jalen Petrie, Jimmy Ward, MJ Stewart. Jalen Petrie is just such a baller, bro. They really don't need safety help. Kalen Bullock, he's not as much of a baller as Petrie, but they're shut down, So, and could go Carson Beck, but that's just not a good pick. It'd be interesting. Don't get me wrong, it's just not a great pick. And having to reach on D-line here. But when your defense is already locked down like the Texans, you just want to get as much depth as possible. We already got some. We spent our first 3 picks, I think. First 3 out of 4 on offensive line. So getting a linebacker, an edge, and a defensive lineman definitely isn't gonna do anything to hurt us. Chase Roberts, 191 is where he's projected. Next, our selections, 160. I think we gotta reach on Chase Roberts here. Well, this is just me being entirely biased. I'm gonna be completely honest. BYU fan, kinda. I don't even watch college like that, but I guess I'd have to say BYU is my favorite team just because Puka Nacua came out of BYU. He's like my favorite player in the league, the Rams. But apart from that, I don't really have a college team. But I'm just going to reach on Chase Roberts here. I think he's a good addition to the Texans receiving room. Even if I do have to reach a little. Yeah, it's not the best pick, but he's a good addition to the Texans receiving room. And in reality, if I was an actual GM, I would not reach on him like that. But this is just a mock draft after all. In real life, I would have just waited, gotten a different receiver. Can't risk the team over something like that. But, yeah, just, what are you gonna do? Alright, and I think final pick should be, we want someone that can contribute even on special teams, so we're gonna get Cole. I'm not even gonna try. Cole Wisniewski. So I know I was saying safety for the Texans is locked down, so you might be questioning why I took a safety with my last pick. Well, safeties, a lot of the backup ones, well, even the starting ones, they'll play some special teams like kickoffs, punts. They'll be like the gunners sometimes. That'll also be like your receivers, corners, but they'll play those downs. So if you can get a constant contributor on special teams in the 7th round, that's not a wasted pick. If they're listed as a safety, they get 0 interceptions. Let's say they get 5 solo tackles and a forced fumble, and you picked them up off of in the 7th round of the draft, by week 10, let's say they have the stats, that's a hit. And it's all on special teams. So I definitely think it's not wasted. Even if they don't play snaps at safety, which is what a lot of mock drafts do. They'll say this player's a safety, so they're going to play snaps at safety, even if you take them this late in the draft. Like, Chase Roberts, I took him, but I don't expect him to get, like, meaningful playing time, you know? Definitely he'll get meaningful playing time, but, like, he's like he can maybe fight for the 4th option, because they have, Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Dalton Schultz, Jalen Knoll, shoot, I forgot the last guy. Jaden Higgins, not Jaden, Jaden Knoll. Jalen Knoll, yeah. Jaden Higgins, Christian Kirk. He can fight for like that 4th, 5th option for sure. But he's like, he can be a gunner, punt returner. He might not be the fastest punt returner, but he's a solid runner. He has good hands. He's a willing blocker. I mean, there's so much he does that's outside the receiver position that makes him a value pick, but it's like he can fight and get maybe like that 3rd or 4th option. Like, he can see at least like 5 snaps a game, and even that is meaningful given how many other talented receivers are in this room. But yeah, let's see, any other picks that I want to defend? I'm gonna just talk about Ephesians Prysock for a little bit. I take him in a lot of mocks that I do. He doesn't have the craziest stats, yeah, but he's a lanky guy, and in a corner, you want him to be lanky. He has, if his stats were better, he would be in contention for a 1st round pick. I think it's, if he's the type of guy that you can coach up, he can be top 5 in the league, just given his physicals. I don't know why he's fallen so far. I think realistically in value he should be around 190 maybe. Like, he's definitely developmental, but if you can develop him, he can be your team's AJ Terrell. But it'll take a lot of development. He's a very raw talent, but he's got the physicals to be that guy. So, yeah. Chase Roberts, yeah, I already explained that one. Texans O-line just needs all the help it can get. C.A. Stroud needs all the help he can get. Get as little pressure on him as possible. Linebacker, just as long as he can play meaningful snaps, which I think he can. He can convert between pass rush, dropping into coverage. He can do it all that they need him to do. The edge, you never have enough depth in the trenches, so yeah. Thanks for watching this video. Did the Falcons and Texans mock drafts. See you in the next one, where I'll do some more mock drafts. Peace.